What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Down to Business podcast here with Tamar Turner. And for today, I sat down with a good high school friend of mine, Brendan Daly. And so the central theme of the episode was really forgiveness. So that stems all the way back to some events that transpired early on in his life that really, shaped some of his actions and interactions and just how he was as a person. But, going through some of the years, going through some trials and tribulations, some good times, some bad times, it was really able to kind of propel him to where he is today. So very excited, for you guys to tap into this because you may even be able to resonate and even relate yourself. And he may have even left you a gem or a word of wisdom. So without further ado, enjoy episode 69, The Power of Forgiveness. So welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Down to Business podcast. And I know, look, I start off every episode saying that I'm excited, I'm happy, I'm very glad. And that's very true. But for everybody, tapping in, for everybody out there listening, whether it be IG Live, whether it be, just tapping into the interview here on YouTube or whatever platform you're on, can we just take a moment to look at how fly my man is, to take a moment to just look at how good my man Brendan looks, man? It's just crazy. Like I felt like I just put on a little polo today. I threw on a little sweater underneath, but my man's got the bow tie, he's got the blazer, he's got the look decked out for real. But no, on a more serious note, I'm very excited to be sitting down today with a great friend of mine, a great somebody who I went to high school with, somebody who, we relate to each other a lot more than we realize. And that was something that, catching up with him last week, just in talking to him, I really realized that, that we really have a similar path, that we really are on the same trajectory and everything like that. We have a lot of similar experiences, but I was blessed enough to meet him in high school. So very excited to be sitting down with my man, Brendan Daly, today. Very excited for what he's coming to bring y'all today. I know he has a lot of substance. I know he has a message, some gems for somebody out there. So Brendan, I can hype you up some more, bro, but I just want to know, how you doing today, bro? How you feeling?
Hey, Tamar, seriously, I just want to first say thank you so much for, having me on here, man. I've been following your thing and, I'm just, I'm grateful and I'm, blessed to be, in this situation to, have a conversation with you on your platform here. So I'm great, man. Honestly, I couldn't be better. So
I
I'm
love
doing
that.
well,
You
man.
couldn't be better. You couldn't look better. It's just like it's amazing, bro. So for everybody out there tapping in from my side, from your side, for those of y'all who kind of missed the intro a little bit. So me and Brendan, we went to high school together. We played football together. Brendan was somebody who Brendan has a hell of a personality. I would say it's just like he's a very vibrant individual. He's somebody who talking to him, meeting him, you may not necessarily click with him off the beginning. From the beginning, you may kind of have your views, your opinions, whatever. Everybody's entitled to him. It is what it is. But for me, for Brendan, I really felt like he was a very genuine individual. I really felt like he was somebody, who when you really sat back and talked to him, whether it be about football, whether it be about life, whatever the case may be, he had something for you. I really feel like, he added a lot of value to my life. We were related to each other, like I said, a lot more than we realized. So for everybody tapping in, bro, from every different platform, from my side, from your side, people may be joining us for the first time. Can you just, tell us a little bit about yourself and then we'll bring you on the Down to Business podcast today?
Sure. Yeah, sure, Tamar. No problem, man. I would say it's a variety of things, really, but mostly I think it's just an opportunity to kind of, I actually just recently went through a career change and, a lot of life changes, a lot of big changes have happened for me, in less than the last couple months. So, I wanted to, have an opportunity to explain that and kind of explain the steps that got me here, man, and just like how I was able to overcome, the adversity that we all face. We all have a different different kinds of adversity. Everyone has a different life. Everyone's their own individual, man. But like, we can be on, different roads, but get to the same place kind of thing, and I kind of wanted to, just that's really what brought me here today, man, just to kind of share my energy with everyone, man. I really want, people to, take it for what it is. And I want them to interpret it the way that they
Absolutely.
want.
And I love that just because, something that you touched on very early is just that you recognize that everybody is going to take a different thing from this. You recognize that, look, you're going to just give what you have to give. You're not going to tell people the right or wrong way. You're not going to tell people, hey, this is what you need to be doing. Hey, this is what I did. You're going to recognize that, look, I have my experiences. I have what I did. I'm still living life. But at the end of the day, if you can relate to this or if you can kind of shape shift it and put your own little spin on it, then that's perfect. So a word that you used, a word that I love just because, it's something I've come to appreciate myself is adversity. talk a little bit, please, about some of the adversity that you face, some of what has really allowed you to be into the position that you are today, and how you really overcome adversity. Because, like you said, it's something that we're still facing, it's something that we're going to continue to face, but it's something that can be handled, can be managed. So for you, how does that work? How does that look?
Absolutely, man. That's a great question, very loaded question. But I would say that I want to take you guys back to when I was younger. So growing up, I was a bit of a rambunctious kid. I didn't do really well in school. My dad. I grew up in Bucks County, Pennsylvania, so Doylestown, so about 45 minutes, north or so of Philadelphia. And I grew up in I have three siblings, so I'm one of four. I always kind of had like a fire under me, almost, I guess is the right way to say it, like in a good way, right? Because you can take that in many different ways. But I was getting in trouble in school. I wasn't really doing well, and this and that. And so my father, he fell to the arms of alcoholism, and he passed away when he was 45 years old. So and that was when I was 13. So the last couple years of his life. So being that I was 13 years old, I think a lot of people, the memories from, even from like, say like 10 to 13 are very, it's like you only remember those things where like you're in a moment, you're in like a sporting event, or like, you went somewhere and you experienced something, you had a heightened sense of something, right? And so your brain like kind of goes back to that place. And for me, there was many of those moments in the last couple of years of his life. And unfortunately, one morning he didn't wake up. And so from that point on, it was, it's been, 12 years now. And it's kind of crazy to say that. Like, I can say that it's been over a decade, and like using that term is it totally out, it's out of sight, out of mind, because it's like, it's hard to grasp that. But the thing is that my idea and the things I want to talk about is how, how you have to grasp those things. You have to acknowledge what's happening in order to move forward. And so anyways, as I, from 13 years old on, I was the first couple years after my dad passed were really tough. So I was at a public school here in Bucks County, and then because I got into like just some some stuff that I shouldn't have been doing when I was young, like drinking and stuff, and just because I was just trying to find this release, and I was kind of running with the wrong crowd a little bit, and so my mom pulled me out of public school, out of with the kids that I was with, and put me into Catholic grade school for 1 year. And so so I have two older brothers and a younger sister, and both of my older brothers were already at LaSalle at this point, and which is where I met Tamara, and so I would naturally was going to go there, but I really didn't want to go. I like really didn't want to go. I hated the fact that she put me in the school, and I just was filled with hatred and resentment, of like not understanding like why my dad was the way he was, because like as the one of the things that's hardest for me to deal with is the fact that I never really got out of him what I ever really wanted, man, because I was 13 years old. That stage in your life, that adolescent teenage age is such a it's very vulnerable, man. And I think it really hurt me going forward from that, because I wasn't really sure how to deal with it. So I kind of lashed out way more than I usually would, right? When I was younger, before that, it was almost like, I was just getting in trouble. It was nothing major. I was just like kind of being a kid, but now it was like getting serious, and I was getting like on fights on the basketball court, like creating like tons of scenes, and like, I was like cursing at my teachers, like even Catholic nuns, and that, obviously, looking back, it's, I'm that's something that I'm not very proud of, man. But, I would say that I did end up going to LaSalle, and I would say that in a lot of ways, man, LaSalle, almost saved my life, and as I, I met people like you, and tons of other people. Another person I saw recently, Brendan O'Donnell. I mean, great guy. We played football with him. I connected with Levi Hardy last night. Joey Ruger, like all these guys that I met there, man, like have made an impact, whether we strayed away from in college or not. And so really, like, even though the episodes get, so at that point, when I got into high school, man, I started to actually do better in school. I started to apply myself because I started to really care, and I really really wanted to turn the table because I didn't want to put this on, my mom was going through so much, you know what I mean? Like she was, she's the same age as my dad, you know what I mean? Can you imagine losing, your husband or wife at, in your mid 40s? It's like, what are you going to do? And so, her brother, she's one of seven. One of my uncles, my uncle Dennis, he was a tremendous help, financially and otherwise, like supporting us, just, making sure that we went back to a life that was as normal as it was before, and, despite anything that I did, it is what it is. And so, there were so many moments in my life, man, that have led me to this moment. And, like as I progressed through high school and like things happen, really one of the unfortunate things is, when I was a senior in high school, I was, one of my, I got my girlfriend at the time, she cheated on me with, an individual that I was close with. And I think one of the things that I really want to start getting into is I don't want to be too long winded about it is that there is no there that forgiveness is the ultimate path to freedom, and like and no matter what happened, who does it to you, how it is, man, it's all about how you feel, man. It's all about how you feel and how you present yourself in the world. But it just took me such a long time to realize that, and I'm still working every single day to try to develop myself in that way to not build up resentment, man. The resentment and guilt, man, just builds up all of these things, and like that idea can really really crush someone, man, because if you can't truly forgive someone, because if you got so for example, with the example that I'm saying now, if you got cheated on, right, it's like, okay, well, that wasn't my fault, that's your fault. And it's like, well, you did this, blah blah blah, but it's more about, okay, acknowledging the fact that, yeah, what were the steps that led up to that point, what allowed that to happen, and acknowledging that, and setting yourself free of the fact that you don't have to harbor all that, and you don't have to lose friends over it. And you know what, the thing that happened to me is that I decided to, and this was my choice, to kind of stray away from a lot of the guys that I got really close with, and I don't have any regrets in that case, because I'm glad to be talking about it today, because it's a very powerful thing, man, and it was a very significant thing. And and if that individual, and I will never name any names, ever heard me say this, it's like, I've forgiven you for years, man. So like, I just, in terms of my path now, I wanted to explain it because it was a significant thing that happened to me in high school. And then I went to college, man, and I completely started over. I completely started over. This was second half of senior year, and I said, okay, you know what, dude, clean slate. And I made new friends. I got all this new energy, man. I continued to play music. And I would say, dude, like there's really other, aside from my mom, because my mom's, without her I wouldn't be anywhere, is that it's music and yoga completely changed my life, man. And the pursuit of music has led me into into a stage where, it's like I can feel the worst, I can feel the happiest, I can feel it doesn't matter how I feel, man. Music always brings you back home, man. And that's why I love playing it, because when I play it, it's like this cerebral thing, man. And I think it's a universal thing. It's like, it's literally, it incorporates the entire globe of the entire species of humanity, man. Like, no matter what music you like or whatever, man, it's something that is inherent in us, and that's why it's so cool. And me playing it too kind of fused those two things together, which was really great. And then about 3 years ago, I got introduced to yoga, and I started doing it. Like, I do it, I actually do now. I do it from anywhere from like 5 to 6 days a week, and I, it's like, it's the idea that, like, being in the present moment, because we're always thinking about the future, we're always thinking about the past. Like, it's either the future or it's the past. Or rather, let me rephrase it. It's either the past or it's it's the future. It's like we're thinking about, but our mind, dude, our mind never stops working. It's like, but one of the things that yoga taught me was that, like, okay, if we can understand that we're going to have to face adversity, and we're going to have negative emotions, that's going to come to us. Just being able to be an observer of those thoughts, man, because then you ask the question, well, why do I react in situations, when I get in a fight with someone, and it's because you're feeling triggered because of something that happened before, but it's acknowledging that did happen, and saying that, like, whatever's happening in that moment is either you're always in control, if you want to be, and two, if you're not, it's because you're letting yourself get there, and three, if you just let it happen and they continue to do what they're doing, it's because they have their own issues or own insecurities. And so, as I've moved through, life, I just, I don't want to, kind of, definitely a lot of different things to talk about, but I think one of the main points that I wanted to bring forth and bringing up my dad's death was that, it's like, I forgive him for what he did, man. Like, and as hard as that is, man, it's taken me almost 12 years to really fully say that with a full heart, man, because it's like, yeah, I can't change the past. No one can change the past, man. Like, we're all gonna do things wrong. We're all gonna feel bad. But we, dude, I always, I had this thought that, like, dude, happiness is just one thought away, man. If you are grateful just for one thing every day, man, I promise you, you'll be a little bit better each night. So that's where I kind of want to leave that, and so that's kind of what has brought me partly to who I am today.
I love that, bro. I've had people, in front of me on my IG live say that you're preaching. I've had people be able to relate to that. But me personally, I hearing that, it's just like, wow, that's amazing. Just from the perspective shift to just, just even the life lessons in that, even how sometimes our experiences, whether we were in charge of them or not, shape us. How they, how they can change our mindset, how they can have us look at things differently. And like you said, a lot of the time, sometimes we're not even at fault for how certain things that we go through or how the cards were dealt or things like that. But it's all about what are you going to do with that hand.
Mm-hmm.
I always think about that. How in a spades game and cards, period, you have no idea what's being dealt in front of you. But when you flip those cards over, you have to make the best of it regardless. And I feel like a lot of that can definitely relate to life in the sense of sometimes. Well, for one, simply put, we didn't ask to be here as human beings. As I didn't know that when once my mom got pregnant and things like that it was going to be me that I was going to pop out. But in this life now, I have to live it. I have to live with things that happen, whether it's my fault, whether it's just it comes with the territory or anything like that. But I feel like that's hard, and not everybody can understand that sometimes that you literally have to take responsibility for things or speak on behalf of things or act or react on things that had nothing to do with you, that you weren't even involved in, that you may not have necessarily even triggered or anything like that. So a lot of what I hear from you is really a mindset change or really a perspective shift, but also an understanding that there's more to life than this. There's more to just beating myself up. There's more to just being a hothead. There's more to just snapping and doing things that I'm not supposed to be doing, involving myself in avenues that may not necessarily benefit me directly. So I love that. And just in obviously I know you personally. Obviously, I've been able to see a lot of this. I've been able to see a lot of growth. And bro, something that was so beautiful to me was just catching up with you the other day. Just really realizing that not necessarily, like I said, we all go through struggles. We all have different things that are happening to us. But even something I spoke about on a previous episode was just about how sometimes we can struggle so bad, or we can just go through things for so long that we think it's just us. We think it's just literally tailored to us. We think that Brendan's the only one struggling. We think that Tamar's the only one struggling. I think that, my IG Live followers, sometimes have you just really felt like, you're the only one in a predicament? But little do you know, you take a step back. Everybody is fighting some type of battle. Life is hard, regardless of how you look at it. But something that I think life teaches you is to really appreciate the small things. And I really can't emphasize and reiterate that enough of how, you can go through so much in your life. You can literally, I lost a parent, I lost my mom. Brendan just talked about how he lost his dad. I felt like, I lost my mom with no rhyme or reason. Literally had the doctors look me in my face and say, this was a 1 in a million death. Had your mom showed any symptoms, had we been able to test for this, or had she had high blood pressure, or had she had diabetes, we would have cured this. This is hereditary. So if it's hereditary, how did nobody else in my family have it when we all got tested? How was my mom the only one that had it? How did her heart suddenly become just so enlarged it just started beating irregularly? But for me, if I continue to, just beat myself up or just take blame for things that necessarily were not influenced by me, bro, I would be in a terrible headspace. Like, it's all about for a while, bro, I will definitely admit it to my followers, to you. For a while, I was very confused. I was upset. I lost faith. I'm not going to lie to you. I woke up at my grandparents' house the very next day after my mom passed away, distraught, lost, confused. But what was one of the first things that I said? I got to go back to school. I got to do something. I got to get around the guys. I got to, I need something to happen here. And it's a matter of recognizing that your situation is not your destination. It's a matter of also realizing that, we're all going to go through things. You're not just the one that's struggling. And I even spoke about it previously, but it's just like, bro, it could always be worse. Something else could always be happening, things like that. So something that I really want to pose to you is just like, at what point in your life did you really feel that perspective shift? At what point in your life did you really feel like, yo, I'm Brandon, I need to take control of my circumstance, I need to take control of what's in front of me, but I also need to realize what's in front of me? Because it's one thing to, see your situation. It's one thing to see things in front of you. It's one thing to be going through things and just, want to react or want to try to, be copacetic or just get things on a level playing field. But it's another thing when you realize, hey, I'm not in control right now. But hey, at the end of the day, I trust what's going on. I may not necessarily agree with it. I may not understand what's going on, but I have to trust what's going on. I trust that I'm going to make it out of this. I trust that I'm going to make it out of better days. So at what point for you, at what point in your journey, whether it be before the music, during the music, whether it be with football, high school, at what point did you really realize, hey, I got to shift here. I got to do something different. This is not going to make or break me. I'm going to make sure that, I rebound from this. I'm going to make sure that I continuously progress and move forward.
Great question, man. And I just, what those things that you said were, really incredible. And I'll start off with answering, multifaceted question to answer. But, to be honest with you, and you know what, Tamar, I wanted to take this opportunity to give my full authentic self to this podcast and whoever may view it, man, because I don't think that it does any justice for me to sugarcoat anything, man. I want them to understand me because, I want I want someone else to feel that, okay, you know what? It's okay. It's okay to feel like that. And so I would say, man, it really happened for me very recently in the last couple years, dude, even after college, man, because, it's like there was things that happened then where there was visceral this or visceral that. And it was just like, but there wasn't any perspective, even though I tried to. It was like, I was in a relationship in college and the girl I was with, she was, it's a great person and, amazing. It's just, we didn't work out. But I think for me specifically in that, there were so many things that I just wasn't recognizing. I was just, it was how I felt, not because of what actually was happening, and I was projecting that onto her or whatever. And there was all other situations. So it's just that really it was, so recently because, all right. So to get more specific, so in college, I studied accounting. And so I actually started out as a psychology major. It's actually kind of funny. I started out as a psychology major on a pre-dental track. So I was going to be a dentist or an orthodontist, and clearly I was like, I'm just going to, I'm going to make all this money. It's going to be so great or whatever, it was like, this is my first semester of college. And my friend, one of my buddies sat me down one day and he was like, so are you just in love with teeth? And I was like, wait, actually, no, I actually don't want to work in people's mouths for the rest of my life. And hey, no shade on them, man, because God bless them, dude. But damn, I was like, damn, dude, I need to get the F out of here, dude. I am doing this shit no longer. So anyway, so I figured, I was like, okay, my brother's also an accountant. He was in accounting, and I'll call my mom. She was like, you should do finance or accounting, and I was like, all right, well, see, kids working for Connor. I was like, I figured, I've done so many things that have followed his footsteps these days, so I might as well give this one a shot too. And I'm being a little bit facetious, but my point is that I did go in with accounting and actually really started. I owned it, and I actually got, I got very involved with the tutoring center, and I became a teaching assistant for the financial accounting course, and I really started to become, something that I really love because I got opportunities to teach with the trust that I built with the professor in front of a 300 person lecture hall, about just fundamentals of accounting, and I got to tutor, and I found this love for teaching. And I think that what I conflated it with was with the fact that I love that way more than I think I actually love the accounting but I was okay with the fact that I was good enough at it to be like, okay, I can make a career out of it, right? And so so naturally I went through and I ended up going to a company. I went to work for Deloitte for about 2.5 years. And and at first, it was good. It was like, so I studied for my CPA exam. It's 4 exams, and it was the hardest academic thing I've ever done. And it was just it was brutal, man. But, and from May of 2018, when I graduated, to really when I started full time in that June of 2019, I was working for my uncle in the interim. I worked part time a little bit at Deloitte in the winter. And, anyways, I got the exam done. I looked my last exam in July of 2019, and And so I took it full force, man. I was like, I'm in this, and I was feeling good. I was living in Fairmount by the Eastern State Penitentiary and the Art Museum in Philly. And I worked at, like, leading into the job. I supplemented my income from the TA job. I worked at McGillen's, which is like the oldest bar in Philly. I don't have any regrets there, but man, I saw some, oh my God, terrible things. I could have worked at a bar that was less rambunctious, but whatever, dude. It's like, there's one time I was like, finally got to work downstairs. They put you upstairs. As a quick side note, and I was downstairs, and people understand the idea of table service down there. There's separation between the table and the bars, where it's closer upstairs. So when it gets late at night, people just don't really give a shit. So I was about to sit at seven top. So I was like, okay, great. You're going to overstay. I was passing out menus and for them and stuff. So they're going to eat. And like, as I was doing that, dude, this girl came up right in between them and just threw up all over my table. And I was like, all right. I don't know. Should I leave? I was like, I don't know. I don't know if I can do this. So anyway, so I did that to because my mom was like, she was helping me out, with rent and stuff. And when I was in college, she was like, hey, once you're done school, like you can move back home. You're welcome to move back home. But, if you don't, you're on your own. And I was like, okay, that's, it's way, way more than fair, way more than, I'm grateful for that. So I decided to do that. So I was able to do live in Fairmount. And then eventually, I started my full-time job, and as it progressed, man, it was just like I kind of got to realizing that it was just like I was so insignificant in this big corporate company. And you know what, dude? I met some of the smartest people that I've ever met in my life, and some really great people, man. And there's no shade on them, no shade on who works there still, or really the company at all, man. Because what I came to realize is once the pandemic hit and we were working from home, not only was I working from home and did it not get it actually got more busy for me. It didn't get any less busy. So I'm working 60 to 80-hour weeks doing accounting, just tax accounting. Because when you strip down, because obviously the one thing everyone didn't have was human interaction, and then also all the other perks like networking and this and that. It's like, because you get conflated with all these other things. You're like, oh, this is sweet, man. Like, awesome. Like, I can deal with the accounting. I get 28 PTO days. Like, all right, dude, we can do this. We got this. We're good, man. We're good. We got this. And so anyways, I just was both of my roommates I lived with. One was living down the shore with his parents, totally fine. The other one was living with his girlfriend in South Philly. And so I was living alone in North Philadelphia by myself doing tax accounting 68 hours a week. And I would say it was probably, it was a particularly very dark time for me, man, and so last fall, last summer, really, I was having a conversation with one of my friend's uncles, and I was telling him how unhappy I was then at that point. And he was like, hey, I would love to, get you in contact with, a guy who was in your situation. And he's like one of the happiest guys I know. He's one of my best friends. He's in financial advising now. And he's literally the happiest guy I know. So a couple months later, last fall, I said, you know what, I'm going to take Jerry. His name's Jerry. I'm going to take Jerry up on his offer. And so within 20 minutes, I was on the phone with this guy, Tim McGuire, who Jerry put me in contact with. And he was talking to me. And I was just like, dude, this guy was like the most upbeat, like unbelievable guy. So you have to keep in mind that we're so busy at work. So like, people as they got farther away from each other physically, they got, they would snap easier. Like people get more, they would be, there's a little bit more tension, And so it was just like, oh my God, like I didn't think this existed in the business world at all. I was just brainwashed by what I was in, it was all I knew. And so anyways, fast forward, I actually got the offer from them. And, so he paired me up with a guy that specifically, handles, wealth for the partners at the big four accounting firms. And I was at one of them. And at the time I was like, okay, that makes sense. I have those connections, this and that. But I wasn't really totally sold on like doing that, because I wanted to move away from accounting, you know what I mean? And maybe eventually use those contacts. And then I also learned that, you have to pass another 4 tests. So a year later, I'm like, I just passed my CPA exam. I was like, which is a good credibility thing in business world. And I was like, now I got to pass another 4 tests. God. So I actually told them no. And so a couple months later, this past March, I actually moved back to my mom's house in Bucks County, because we were able to end our lease early, and it was really great and whatever. So I had the opportunity to move back here. My mom was cool with it. I love her to death. And so I'm here now, and so I'm on this. So they put me on a loan staff engagement, and so basically what that is it's a Deloitte client, but they are basically working for that company. So imagine, for anyone that's listening, starting a new job and just not wanting to do it at all. That's the situation I was in. So I was in a bad space. I was not in a good space. And so somehow, some way, this guy Tim McGuire at the firm, this financial advising firm, reached out to me again and said, "Hey man, we still really want you." And I'm like, okay. So this guy's reaching out to me again. So he said right after, he was like, "You and I both know that you're in the wrong career." And I'm like, all right. So this guy's reaching out to me again. I gave him a hard no in the fall. And like, somehow it was still in his back pocket. Usually in business, you think like, okay, once you say no, that's it. And so he's seeing something in myself I'm not seeing in me. And, it's like, okay, well, now I'm living at home, less expenses for a little bit here. Now's the time to do it. I talked to my mom about it. And you know what? I decided on March 19th of this year, I left Deloitte. And you know what, dude? It was the best decision I've ever made. And it took me, I said, if I'm going to study for these exams, if I'm going to go in, it's like I always had the mentality is that, my dad, one of the things my dad always said that I live by till this day is that if you're going to do it right or don't do it at all, and however you define right is completely, up to the individual. But for me, it's like I'm going to go 110% or I'm not going to do it at all. I can't do 50-50. So I went full force, and it took me 4 months. I passed my life accident health, my securities industry essentials exam, my Series 7, and my Series 66, so I can, be a financial advisor. And I'm about 2 months into the role now, man. And to transition into that, one of the biggest motivators was that not only the support that I have with who is my mentor, my partner now, was that my mom would always say, "quote, I'm never going to be able to retire." And I took it upon myself to say, okay, I'm going to try to do everything I can within this financial world that I've immersed myself in to make sure that that does happen in a reasonable time. And so she's 57 years old now because of what my partner what I were able to do with planning and, the different types of, asset allocation models and what have you, not to bore anyone. She's going to be retiring in 2.5 years. So that's what, dude. And so within the last within the last year, really, man, it's just like that whole idea. It's like I'm doing yoga, I'm still playing music, and I'm doing all these things, and like it's just like when because you still get out of control, meaning that like there's situations where you kind of feel like you're getting to that point of like, oh my god, like I'm not feeling good right now or whatever. But it's just like, dude, you have to, your brain is just as much as, it's the most powerful muscle in your body, man. You have to train just as much as you train for football or anything else, man, or playing an instrument, dude, and so like, as you can acknowledge the fact that it's like, dude, you like, we're it's not going to do, it's a continual process. People are like, oh, are you over your dad's death or whatever? And so it's not like I'm over it. It's that I've been able to move forward. It's like grief is a lifelong process, man. And I think that we connect on that way. So man, that's I really wanted to share that story with you guys because that's really where I'm at now. And dude, I'm invigorated. And I am excited to live this life, man, because it's meant to be
I
lived.
mean,
So.
I swear, if y'all can't hear the passion, man, I think you need to start the interview from the beginning, really, just because, bro, I hear it, I feel it, I believe it. It's just, it's a matter of, it's really the process. A lot of this podcast is talking about the process. It's talking about, how we start in a particular mind frame or mindset, or we may even start in a particular position in our lives, but how, as we move throughout things, how experience things, it really goes like this. It can be a hit or miss. It can be, the fact that somebody sees more in us than we can see in ourselves at the current time. It's the fact that we know, like I kind of spoke about lastly, is that where we are right now, what we're going through, this is not it for us. It's, this is just a part of life. This is just a part of the process, but it's all about those experiences. It's all about the things that build up to that. It's all about what we go through, and how we are just as people to adapt to that, to adjust to that. Because like you said, a lot of things that, were happening to you didn't necessarily make sense. You didn't necessarily agree with it, but at the end of the day, you didn't let that take you out the game, bro. You didn't let that, be the end all be all. So I love that. But something that you really, that hit home for me was that the fact that this guy, he reached back out to you. Like you said, you thought it was a hard no. You thought it was really over with. You thought that was final. You felt like he saw more in you than you saw in yourself. So at that, I really kind of want to dive a little bit deeper into that. How did that make you feel? The fact that, somebody really saw potential in you, somebody really had faith in you, somebody really, wanted to, in a sense, take a chance on you, take a risk with you because they knew that the greater good was going to come out of you. How did, and especially like you said, being at a low point in your life, not being, where exactly you want to be, doing exactly what you want to do. So how does that feel when, somebody reaches back out to you with higher hopes for yourself than you might even have at the current moment?
Yeah, great question. And it was a extremely pivotal thing for me, and it just was like, I was just, I couldn't believe it. I was just like, because I think that I was so and maybe this will resonate with some people, is that like I was convincing myself that like okay, I make X amount of money, X amount of dollars per year, and like this is, I can potentially get to this level, maybe make a little bit more money, but it's like I the idea that I am this person at work, and then I go home, and even though we're working from home, but just entertain it, is that, and then I come home and I'm myself. And with what he gave me an opportunity, and because it's like I wasn't all the way sold on it in the fall. I mean, that was part of the reason why I said no. It wasn't that I couldn't like pass these tests. I was able to get through CPA, so I know I can do it. It was just that, like, do like it's just that I wasn't all the way there of like, okay, is this really it, and I
If
was
that's
just
not
like,
what you're
okay.
feeling at the moment, you're not just going to fully immerse yourself into something. I can dig that.
Right. But he gave me that up. He showed me. He kept saying, even from the fall till then, like he was like this is, like I am who I am at work, and like I've never had a job. And okay, let me make it clear that it's still work, man. It's not, it's still a job, but and so there is differences. There's a certain level of professionalism, but dude, like this is like when I speak, and I was just like rambling. I'm so passionate because I am, dude. Like, because like I get to go wake up every day to try to make a significant impact in others' lives, and that's like I've finally recently been able to live in a mission that I actually want to live in, dude, and not do freaking tax returns, man. And not saying that that's not valuable, man. And I don't want to. And if anyone does accounting, man, accounting is hard work, and I understand it, and I respect that, and I respect anything that anyone does, man, because it's not easy in this world out here. But for me personally, I didn't see like I didn't have a mission. It was just lost, and okay, I just have to do what they tell me to do, and then maybe I'll get there if they like me enough. And then it was like, dude, how many times are these people going to tell me that I'm not good enough before I'm a human being, before I break? And that was part of it, because I was like, because at the end of the day, man, this was a huge risk for me. There wasn't any guarantee that I was going to pass these tests. There wasn't any guarantee that I was actually going to be successful when I got there. And it's like you have to be able to continue to do that. But I now am in a position to actually help people, man. Like, because I understand what inadequate financial planning would do. It's like, the payout that my mom got for the life insurance that from my dad, like she put every single cent of that into each and the four of us, my siblings. And dude, and now that that's part of the business that I do, and knowing that, and obviously you never want to use something like that, right? Because but at the end of the day, it's there for a reason, right? And so there are situations where it's like, okay, well, that's powerful, man. So in the worst case scenario, if something does happen, it's like we're gonna be okay, and it's like and it's like, dude, I I really, 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 because it's not, because there's other people out there in the financial advising world that, man, that like are really just in it for the money, man. And like, I want to, like, I owe it to everyone else to say that, hey, man, I want to build a trust and relationship with you before we do anything. So I can take care of you, and we can take care of each other. We can build that, man. And I'm very passionate about that. I've never been in a situation, whether it be in the finance world or not, because there's plenty of other things that are making unbelievable impact. So many people that you've talked to on these podcasts, I've been listening to, like, uh, amazing people, man, that are making an impact, dude. If you lose sight of your mission and not being able to make an impact, man, then you need to reorient yourself. So I hope that answers your question.
Bro, you've even answered some questions that I've had subliminally that I haven't even been able to ask, just because you give such in depth answers, but and it's not even a bad thing in a sense. It's just because you're just that passionate. You've just gone through so much. You've seen the good, the bad, the ugly, the pretty, the beautiful, the horrendous, like a little bit of everything, bro. But I think that that's, while it's not necessarily ideal, while it's not something that we want to go through, I think that for you is beautiful because bro, it's allowed you to appreciate different things. Like you said, you're not the same person who you were even a year ago. You're not even the same person who you were
Mm-hmm.
yesterday. But in a sense, bro, you've grown a lot. And like I said, I really noticed a lot of that in our phone call that we were able to catch up on that. We were really able to talk. Like I said, bro, I've got nothing but good vibes from you from the beginning. From when I met you in high school, I understood it, bro. I understood. Look, we were young, we were kids, we were just trying to have fun. We were just doing whatever. We went to an all boys school. Sometimes just the masculine energy, it was just built up, bro. So sometimes you just had to do certain things that probably we weren't supposed to be doing. Our definition of fun per
Mm-hmm.
se wasn't everybody's definition of fun. But bro, I also feel like you've grown from that. You've learned from that. You're in a totally different space right now, bro. And I love that for you. And I'm very excited for, what's to come for that. So something that, we're big on, not we're big on, but something that you're big on, something that I've watched or I've followed or I've even been able to tap back in with you as a part of this journey is music. I see the guitars in the background. Like I
Mm-hmm.
said, bro, you looking good. You've done been
Mm-hmm.
able to link with the grade school teachers and everything. It's such a small world. So can you really just kind of take me into a little dive as to how music really kind of influenced you and how it kind of re-entered your life? And then what role did that really play for you? And how is that really, shaping the individual that you are to this day?
Yeah, man, absolutely. I would be freaking happy to, man. So I started playing. So I would say that to really even bring it back to so many things that link back to my father is that my dad was huge into music. He loved rock and roll, blues, and like he would always I grew up listening to everything from Zeppelin to Clapton to Yes to Genesis to all ACDC, you name it, man, all those kind of bands. And it was like it's almost like it was just like I guess literally and figuratively like music to my ears. So what? Because when I grew older and started to kind of get into different kinds of music and then like whatever, but that's just like home base for me, like that like and so he actually was he like made us all like me and all my siblings playing instruments. So my brother Connor played the drums when we were younger, and when I was in fifth grade, I played the bass. And at the time of my life, I wasn't as committed to it. It's like with an instrument, in order to actually get anywhere to a proficient level, you have to be consistent with it. It's like anything else. And I wasn't really there, but I did learn it enough to like kind of have some kind of mechanics with it. So then um, I picked the guitar up in sophomore year of high school. So that was 2011, so 10 years ago. And I just was one of those things where my brother played, and then I was in the same kind of friend group with him. So I would say one of the biggest things for me, man, is that like we would be down the shore in the summertime, and like we would have a particular couple group of guys that played, and like we would all just like, and it was funny because we all kind of started like at the level, like especially with the string instruments, like and we just kind of like built our way up. One of our buddies what ended up being a really good singer, and like he also played the drum, like a sit down drum. So we did a ton of like acoustic stuff, and so it was like that kind of thing was just like it just became a part of my life and became like, dude, like this was just like I was just in love with it, dude. It was like I just couldn't get enough of it, man. Like I would play with them, and then I would just be by myself, and I would just like I literally spent, dude. I tell like when I got to college, dude, I would sit my freshman year, my roommate got so fucking pissed at me, dude. I used to sit there and just try to understand the relationships of notes, because there's only 12 notes that exist in the musical world, which is actually kind of crazy, to think about. There's so many different kinds of music, from rap to hip hop to jazz to rock to blues. I mean, dude, there's so many different kinds of music. It blows my mind. But there's only with all those things and beats and everything, it's harmonies. There's 12 notes, and so I was obsessed. I got obsessed. I got so obsessed with like the relationship in these notes, and like, okay, like, oh, here's the major scale, and it's like, okay, well, how can I do the major scale? How can I move that up in position? How can I? And so I spent the really hard work understanding the neck of the guitar, and then like starting at a different note or a different key, and then saying, okay, well, why do these chords in this key go together? What's happening here? What's the relationship there? And so because of like the jamming that we were doing and stuff, I just took it upon myself to do that freshman year of college. I wrote a couple of songs, and I was just like so inspired by like this, because it was never ending, and it's still, and that's the thing, dude. I'm still learning. There's still so much to learn with it. So it's just it continually defines who I am, man. And so because I've been playing for so long, because I've been so dedicated to it, I've never kind of bridged the gap of like, okay, well, well, can I do this in front of people? Like, can I, like, in a way where like it makes them feel good, like to, in a band setting, or even if it's a small acoustic thing. And I played some open mics and stuff, in college, but like, I never like did this whole band thing. So I was like, this whole new leaf that I turned a couple months ago, it kind of renewed this energy in me that like, dude, I just want to get on stage, man. That's all I want to do. I just want to play. I just want to do it. I just want to play. And so my girlfriend, bless her heart, she's an incredible person. I don't know what I'd do without her. So her uncle has a brewery that's around here, and they were opening up a new location in the last couple months, and he she he was like, she was like, hey, like, they're gonna have live music, they're building a stage and stuff, and I was just like, oh yeah, just tell them I have a band. I had zero band. I had no band at all. And so because I've been playing with these guys like my brother and friends, I was like, in my head, I was like, just tell them I have a band, because I was like, I can pull a band together. We got this,
We'll
dude. We're
figure it out.
good. And yeah, dude. And so so he calls me the next morning and he's like, yeah, so like, what's the deal here? And I was just like, he was like, yeah, so you have a band? And I was like, absolutely. When can we play? I swear to God, dude, I can't make this up.
Yeah,
I was just so excited, dude. And so what happened was, we booked a gig. I got two guys together, and it was this in April or March, and then in May, the end of May, we played. And dude, like, we got all my friends there, and like, my mom was there, and like, it was, dude, and it was just like, everything was just, everyone played their roles so perfectly, dude. And like, I've never, it was one of the most alive moments I've ever felt in my life, dude. And from that point on, and that was so recently, right? From that point on, I was like, dude, I have to chase this. Like, this has to be a part of my life that I really do, because I don't care if I get paid any money. I don't get paid. I don't care about any of that, dude. I just want to get on stage. I want to play, because I was like, dude, if we can make people feel good and it's a mutual thing for me, then like, why the hell not? So yeah, man, that's just, it's all, it's, I'm just, I love it, dude. I can't, I can't even speak
yeah,
words right
bro.
now.
I love that. I love it from just from the confidence aspect to just from the just the growth. I really can sense it, bro. Like I said, I'll keep emphasizing, I'll keep talking about it, just because, bro, we've come a long way. We've come a long way just from just unfortunate situations. We've come a long way just from not always being understood. We've come a long way from just our own immaturity, our own, adolescence, just being young, just being dumb in a sense, just not necessarily knowing everything or how everything works, or just being naive in a sense about the world, the outlook, the future, whatever have you. So I love that, bro. I love the fact that you had confidence in yourself from the beginning, and it's not necessarily to say that it's nothing wrong with. Everybody's at different stages, different points in their life, where sometimes it's hard to have that self confidence. Sometimes it's hard to do that evaluation and really know what you are, what you bring to the table, what you can offer, what you can be for other people. But it's another thing, when you don't know how people view you. It's another thing when you're kind of just trying to figure out like where you're at, like where you fit, like where you gauge. It's hard going through the process, bro. Simply put, like it's hard, not being where you want to be. But seeing other people, like you said, doing that compare and contrast, it's hard, knowing that you work so hard at something, knowing that this is where you want to be. But for right now, you're just right here. And you have to accept that. And you have to recognize that, greater plans are definitely ahead. Greater plans are definitely in store. But for right now, it just can't work out that way. So something that really makes me think about immediately, bro, is just, where you are right now. So with where you are right now, with the space that you're in, with everything that you have going on, what's next? Like, how are you feeling right now? Like, obviously, you've gone through a lot. Obviously, you've gone back home. You've taken care of the family. You've done what you had to do. You've had the confidence in yourself to move forward. You've been able to reconnect and rekindle certain friendships, relationships, and things like that. But at the end of the day, you've grown internally, mentally, spiritually, physically, financially, all of that. So what's next for Brendan Daly?
What's next for me, man, is to continue to understand that I have to, no matter, even, and dude, even today, it was like, I was like, I was kind of, a little bit, I was being a little bit hard on myself, because of what, it wasn't nothing in particular. It was just that, like, I was like, I was actually asking myself the same question. And I was like, how am I gonna build on my practice? And like, how is this gonna work? And like last Sunday, like, I'm playing jazz with these guys. It's a jazz duo, and they let me sit in for a few songs on every Sunday now. And I didn't play well, because jazz is very technical, and it's like I just was like I didn't have I just, something happened to me personally, and I just was like I just wasn't in the right headspace. And so my point saying this was that, like, is that like, dude, I just need to understand and keep understanding that like I need to be kind to myself. I need to understand I need to forgive myself for feeling the way that I feel when it does get there. And I just need to just move just take as long as I just take one foot in front of the other, man, even if it's a freaking quarter of a step, man. Just as long as my left foot or my right foot's moving in front of the other one, man. And like it's just that like I just and driving home my mission of that I want to play music and I want to be able to make people feel good based on the fact that that I can do that and that's a beautiful thing and I want to help people be able to you know uh, have a financial future and build those plans. But I would say most importantly, man, my ever since and I want to emphasize this with freaking a million stars is that the number one thing that I want in my life, man, is that I want to be there for the people that are there for me, and the idea that the life is about what you give. It's not about what you receive. And I want to give as much as I can to the people that I love, man. And I want to start a family, and I'm with an incredible girl now, man. I'm so in love with her, dude. She's just she's my number one, and she's amazing. And you don't know what the future holds, but going in that direction. But dude, like ever since I've experienced the loss of my dad, the number one thing I want to do in my life is start my own family. And so that's where I want to go, man. I'm 25 years old. I'm young, but man, and I want to be able to build my business and help people and play music. But most importantly, man, I really want to start a family, and I want to do that, man. And so that's where I'm headed, I think.
I think that, losing a parent, going through all of the trials, the tribulations, all of that is just it's different, bro. Because like you said, losing your dad kind of has put you in a position where at this point you want to start a family. This is the time that you're on. This is what you want to do, bro. I feel the same way about my mom. I think about all the time how at this point in my life, yes, my mom was the most important woman in my life. I'm a mama's boy without a doubt. Once she, passed on, my grandma became that figure right there. That was the hardest moment of my life for me, bro. All transparency, having to be with my grandma in the
Mm-hmm.
hospital, and she turned to me, and I had to console her. I didn't know what to say, bro. Like at the end of the day, we all realize that as sucky as it sounds, either way you put it, a parent is not supposed to have to bury their child. It sucks either way. A child have to bury their parent. It sucks. It's a loss either way. But for me, it put a lot of things in perspective to me from the respect of, yo, moving forward, some of the most important women in my life, other than family, will not meet my mom. Will not know, who that woman was to my life. Will be able to hear that, will be able to hear that I was so that she was just that I was all for her, that I loved her to death, that was just me, that was my bad, my IG live was messing up. But that was just that was my lady. That was my number one. That was who I rocked with from start to
Mm-hmm.
finish. But it's just like, some people won't really know the impact that she's had in my life because you won't be able to meet her. You'll be able to hear stories, you'll be able to hear my recollections and different accounts and things like that. But you won't directly know the impact that that woman had in my life and why sometimes, I am the way that I am. I definitely was talking to my sister last night and some of my friends, and they definitely have
Mm-hmm.
suggested therapy for me, just things like that. And by no means am I against therapy. I feel like, within the African American community, therapy has not the best stereotype or generalization or things like that. A lot of people feel like it's not there to help you, or, we feel like we're being too vulnerable and people may not rock with that. But for me, it's just like, yo, I might need to talk about certain things like that. I might need to address, things in my life that I wasn't able to control or that I've had to sit on since high school. I lost my mom in 2011. 10 years later, here we are. I'm still functioning. I'm still dry. I hear people telling me that they feel like I just have it all together, that they feel like, I'm just this individual who, is just making things happen, who is doing this. Bro, I struggle just the same. I cry. I miss my mom. I mope. I weep. I feel sorrow, all of that. So it's just a matter of, continuing to keep going, but also recognizing what that's done for me. That's had me look
Mm-hmm.
at women in my life in a different light. That's had me, even
Mm-hmm.
sometimes check my friends when, I feel like they were disrespecting their moms or not, keeping it core. I said, yo, you only get one mom. I don't care what she's done to you. I don't care how you feel about her. I don't care what she said, you only get one of them things. If she didn't do what she did for 9 months, my IG live said they couldn't hear me, so I'm gonna start all over. So no, if she didn't, if she didn't do what she did for 9 months, you would not be here. You would not be able to tell it. So whether you agree, whether you disagree, whether you know you're not really on that type of time or on that type of level, you have to understand it, at least at the base level. So for me, I get every bit of that. And I definitely think that it's shaped, who I am as a person. It's definitely shaped how I approach different relationships, particularly with women and things like that. But it's also shaped for me something that I'm so big on, something that you can't tell me one way or another. I'm gonna appreciate the small things. I'm gonna appreciate the fact that I woke up this morning, that I have breath in my body, that I can move, that I can open my eyes to check my phone, to post thank you God, that I can sit on here with this interview with you, that I can clock into my job, that I can get in a car and drive, that I can do all of that because, bro, at the end of the day, somebody
Mm-hmm.
out here has it worse than me. Somebody out here is struggling. I'm driving past people, who are begging for, this and that, and not living no food in their bellies, no roof over their head, no clothes on their back, different things like that. People who are literally day to day struggling to survive. So how can I let this take me out the game? How can I let this, really defeat me? So what that really leads me to is that, bro, we've touched on a lot here. We've touched on, who you are as an individual. We've touched on your experiences and how they've shaped you. We touched on how you become to this Brendan Daly that you are today. Because I've known Brendan Daly since 2010. And here we are 11 years
Mm-hmm.
later, and I'm sitting down with my man, and he's looking clean as ever. He's looking good. He's given me some gems myself, and he's made me even want to step back and reevaluate some of the decisions and some of the things that I've done in my own life. So moving forward, just thinking about everything, just thinking about my IG live followers, just thinking about my people who are going to tap into this on YouTube and all the other avenues, just
Yeah,
thinking
man.
about my people who are going to hear the audio of this. What do you feel like we haven't touched on today? What is a message that you want to leave for people, whether it be personal, whether it be mental, whether it be physical, financial, spiritual, whether it just be about losing a parent, whether it be musically related, whether it be anything? What is something that you feel like, we haven't really gotten into today? Or what is something that kind of, if Brendan Daly has some last words to leave to the people, some wise words, some words of wisdom, and I know my boy's got a lot. He's got the gems. If y'all haven't heard, he's got the gems. He's got the passion. I thought, like I said, I thought I was excited. I thought I looked good. I thought, I put a little sweater on. I tried to pop the collar a little bit. My boy came over here and really stunt, but he
Yeah.
really came on with the passion and appreciation. So, what do you have for the people, bro?
I would say that first, man, just to touch up just a quick before I say that is that, dude, like I've been in therapy for, I consistently with the same guy for over 2 years now, and I've been in therapy in different points of my life, and and whatever culture and community that you're in, and I just want to say to you and everyone else, man, that it's I think everyone should, man, because life's hard, dude. Life's hard, and we're not in this thing alone. So don't ever feel like there's something wrong with you or that you're crazy or any of those things, man. So if anyone was ever questioning doing that, it has done incredible things for him because it's an unbiased third party. You can't get that from anywhere else, really. Because a lot of other people, even if they almost are a third party, they still have some kind of opinion about it. It's that idea. So, well, I'll say that, and I'll leave you guys with that. And I even said it earlier, but happiness is only one thought away, and don't just be kind to yourself, and don't be so hard on yourself. And it's easier for me to say because I'm so hard on myself, it's ridiculous. But and surround yourself by people that support you, man. Take out the naysayers in your life, man. It's easier said than done because you can't really, it's sometimes the closest people in your life, man. But you know what, dude? Keep those people at a distance, man. Surround yourself with people that are gonna provide you with the same kind of support, and in the same, maybe in a different way, but you're gonna move forward together, man. To surround yourself by people that are positive, man, and want to live this life and want to live it because it's good, man. And then they're ready to deal with the hard stuff, and they're ready to hold you accountable. They'll hold you accountable in a good way, man. And saying that if you're messing up, dude, it's like, hey, dude, hey, girl, like pick up, like, dude, look, we gotta recenter here, recenter our awareness, and we gotta move on, man. Life is a continual process, man. It'll be good, bad, and all good, but just know that just be kind to yourself and surround yourself with people that have a similar mentality as you, man. And that is how I think that will breed success, because everything else will take care of itself, man, because we all have the capability to do something amazing. God put us on this earth for some sort of reason, whether it be God or whatever you believe in spiritually, and it's just like you have a purpose, you're supposed to be here, and the world needs you. So that's what I'll leave you guys with.
Damn, bro. I love it. I was so amped up after our phone call last week, bro, that it was just like, wow, like damn, like I can't wait till Sunday to reach out to him to let's schedule this. You told me Thursday. I said Thursday. I'm pushing everything to the side. This is happening. This is going on, and this is going to happen. So I'm definitely glad that
Appreciate
not
that.
only was I able to, not only have I been able to keep up with the progress with you from the time we left LaSalle till now, but it's been beautiful to just see everything that you have going on, to see how you support me, to see how we necessarily didn't talk every day, we necessarily didn't even check in with each other on social media and things like that, but it was there never any love lost. And so I love things like that. But the fact that you really came on here, bro, you gave your authentic self from start to finish. That's not easy to do. It's not easy to become vulnerable. It's not easy to, sometimes reopen wounds or go back to those low points that you had in life and just, feel a certain type of way, and relive those emotions sometimes, bro. It's not the easiest. So for one, from me to you, I love you, bro. I appreciate you, for everything that you've done for me, bro. It's
Love
just
you too, man.
coming on here, bro, being a part of the vision, making this happen, being a vision for my followers. Because, like I said, a lot of my followers have resonated with you tonight, bro. And that's just on IG Live. That's just a sneak peek that they got. So I feel like, once this really becomes public, once we really do this, it's over. So I love it,
Hmm.
bro. So last thing, before we officially close out, can you just tell people, where they can tap in with you on social media if they wanted to, find you, kind of reach out and just keep up with the music journey and just, even kind of give some advice, whether it be
Yeah.
about therapy, personal, anything like that. Where can we best reach you?
Yeah, absolutely, man. So my Instagram handle is Dales Dales with an underscore, and you can reach me out on Instagram. My phone number is, if you want to reach, you want to call me, text me. I'm totally comfortable giving my phone number. My phone number is 215-910-1566, and my email, if you want to, you can reach me on my email too if you want. It's Brendan.daly, BRENDAN at equitable.com. It's my work email, but it's the email that I'm most on. So that's why I'm providing that. But hey, I want to connect with anyone and everyone. So, please feel free to reach out to me. If you want to just talk, if you're having a bad day, give me a call, man.
Come on, man. He
Seriously.
was the IG Live. He's the first person to ever come on this podcast in my 60 plus episodes. Drop his phone number. I would utilize it if I was you. Don't be playing on the phone. Don't be sending a crazy text. Come on, let's be mature. But nah, he was the first person to really get down to business with us. To really, let's get to the nitty gritty. So, bro, like I said, I definitely appreciate you. It's all love this way. Anything that I can do to be of help to you, of assistance, plug you in either way. I'm gonna lock in with you. The fact that like I said, even after all these years, we're still plugged in. We're still making things happen. It's a beautiful thing, bro. So I thank
Hmm.
you from the bottom of my heart for coming on my platform, for making things happen, for being able to drop some things that somebody took something from this tonight, whether it be on IG Live, whether it be when they tune in after we publish it. Somebody took something from this, bro, and I would be surprised if nobody reached out to you, if nobody wanted to move forward with things. But I'm wishing you all the best, bro, in every endeavor, in every avenue that you put your energy towards, and anything that you invest yourself in, bro. I know that it's nothing but up for you. So I love that. And to everybody, from the IG Live to just tapping in front of me right now, for everybody who continues to show us love, for everybody who continues to make this happen, progresses, gives me feedback, makes it happen. I appreciate y'all, man, from start to finish. So this has been another episode of the Down to Business podcast here with Tamar Turner.